Okay, all right, dude. Oliver Harper, man, dude. I'm such a huge fan, man, dude. It's such an honor, man. I love the videos, man. The reviewing retrospectives in search of the last action heroes, which I have two copies.
Whoa,
Um,
two copies.
yeah.
Excellent.
Um, dude, here comes a new challenger, the Street Fighter doc. I love it. The Let's Plays, Last Kumite, man. I love.
Yeah.
I had Ross Clarkson on.
hmm
We were talking about it, dude. Super cool, dude. Had He talked about Seagal, Van Damme, Statham, Jet Li, Rothrock. Had nothing bad to say about anybody, man.
Not even Seagal.
Not even Seagal, man. Dude, it was so awesome because not Scott Atkins, man, just such a cool dude. All right, dude. So the doc, man, the new one, the untold story of No Retreat, No Surrender, man. I'm excited.
That's great, dude. That's great. I mean, did you obviously you grew up with the film during the early
Yeah,
90s?
yeah, yeah. Like, and like the Kickstarter, right?
Yeah.
When I seen
Yeah.
it, I was like, dude, I gotta do this, man, because like, dude, you have so many cool like, I guess like tiers or something. Like, what do you call them? Like tier
Yeah, there will be
rewards?
tears. Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is kind of slightly unusual for like usual Kickstarters I've done before because this one's kind of handled by the producer, Sean David Lowe, who had produced The Last Kumite. So he had like after making that, he was like, "I want to make some documentaries," and he had a bunch of ideas, and number one being No Retreat, No Surrender, which was known as Karate Tiger in Germany where it was huge. Like the franchise is huge. Like they did like 10 of them, but each one, Karate Tiger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, they have no connection to the first movie. So it's completely bonkers. So best of the best is like Karate Tiger 4, maybe. So I didn't realize how popular No Retreat, No Surrender was, still is, because to me, I saw it as a kid, right? I went through the Van Damme phase, like we all did, I think, like picking up his movies. And you see this tape on the shelf and it said No Retreat, No Surrender. Had Van Damme on the front cover. By this point, they had changed the cover because it no longer had Kurt McKinney and like Van Damme like facing off. It was just Van Damme. So I was just like, oh, it's a Van Damme movie. So I watched it and went, oh, he's barely in it, because he's like the bad guy. He's at the beginning, then he pops up at the end. And I was like, okay, I thought the film was great, proper cheese. You know what I mean? If you watch it now as an adult, you've never seen it as a kid, it's the weirdest fucking film. It's like this is a bit corny, but it's got great pop songs in it. Really good, like better than the Karate Kid, far better. These songs on, because it's like the film has two scores. It's like there's a longer cut for the international market, and then there was a shorter cut for the American market a year later. Different songs, different scores, crazy. So when Sean like said, I want to do a documentary, I was like, okay, cool, because he'd done most of the legwork. He reached out to all the cast beforehand because he was thinking of doing a book, and he said, look, I've done all this work. It's going to be easy for you to essentially just kind of direct this. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll do it. Because basically, it's been a gun for hire for this. And with the Kickstarter, it's kind of like, as you were saying, because I've now rambled on a bit, the beginning, because they're offering like, autographs, because obviously the cast had all kind of come together recently to this kind of reunion in Germany. And they'd signed loads of stuff. And I thought, wow, this would be a great idea to sort of offer the fans, you can get the Blu-ray, the documentary, and one of the autographs for one of the characters on the film. So that was a kind of Sean's thinking. I was like, yeah, go for it, man. It is your baby essentially, and I'm here for long for the ride.
Oh, dude, because like, what was it? The Pete Sugarfoot, man. That was like one of the tiers. I'm like, dude, I gotta jump on that. Is getting like the Blu-ray signed. But yeah, dude. So I was like reading like his like Wikipedia,
Mm,
and he was talking about like he was like influenced by seeing like Enter the Dragon like as a kid
yeah,
and seeing Bruce
yeah,
Lee,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like No Retreat, No Surrender, man. That was like my Enter the Dragon
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like
I'm not surprised.
Because like I didn't see like even in the movie like Bruce Lee, man. I think that might have been my like introduction to Bruce Lee. Because like I
Really?
didn't.
Seriously?
Well, yeah, because like Enter the Dragon, I didn't see until like Warner Brothers did that like re-release and like the
Mm.
'90s. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think I was trying to remember, but I think I like even probably thought that that was just like a character for the movie or something. You know?
So yeah, because
Um,
Enter Dragon got re-released in 1998 for its
yeah,
anniversary. So yeah, so that would have been its what 15th? Was it 25th? Yeah, 25th anniversary. So they just kind of remastered it, you know, with like better picture and sound. And for me, Bruce Lee was like, I saw Enter the Dragon early 90s, and I was like, this is like the coolest dude ever, Bruce Lee is. My dad goes, yeah, he's dead. I was just like, no. It was like this, seeing this ultimate, like a real life Superman, you know, on screen. So I saw it, definitely saw Enter the Dragon before I saw No Retreat, because when I saw No Retreat, and I was like, the ghost of Bruce Lee, this is mental, you know. So throughout the interviews, I've been like asking people, like, did you think it was cool at the time, or did you feel it was kind of like a bit slightly bad taste, perhaps? If you did it now, I think no, the Lee estate would get very upset, you know, if you did it now. But like if you saw like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like when Bruce Lee gets his ass handed to him by Brad Pitt, obviously Shannon Lee was very annoyed, and some of the fans were annoyed. I'm like, well, it's kind of a fantasy, doesn't matter. But like back then in the 80s, you could probably get away with having the ghost of Bruce Lee train you. And then as a kid watching it, you're going to be like, this is the coolest thing ever, because every kid would have wanted Bruce Lee to train them, you know, from the afterlife, you know.
well, I don't know. I mean, because like, it's kind of respectfully done. I thought
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
because like, what was that one movie that they came out like maybe like 5 years ago? The Dragon movie that was like about. Remember that? Like it
There
was
was
like
what you think of the one kind of recently, or the one like from the 90s?
no, there was like one recently, and it was made by like WWE Films, and it was like about like Bruce Lee like training
Hmm.
people or something. It was pretty bad, but I guess
Really?
like the um
I
like
know they
the
did it. I think there was a documentary like produced in the last bunch of years. I think that maybe a WWE kind of part of it, or the UFC kind of like
no,
funding it, maybe. But I don't recall that sort of Bruce Lee training people. That was just been
yeah,
weird.
it was about like him like training people, and then like obviously they didn't want people like Bruce Lee to train people. It was like some movie, but like I
Yeah.
guess it was really I didn't see it, but I guess like
Hmm.
his daughter like walked out of the movie like she was just hated it so bad, like she was like this is terrible. um but
Brilliant.
so I think maybe out of like a lot of the other stuff, like this is more respectfully done because they did get like his philosophy, like the whole water thing down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They got all that. They nailed all that. And the guy who plays Bruce Lee had already played Bruce Lee before. Like he was obviously again a massive fan of Bruce, but he was Korean from what I remember. He was in Game of Death. Probably the most exploitative movie out of the Bruce exploitation genre, and it was like the official one because this had Golden Harvest behind it. It was directed by Robert Klaus, you know, who directed Enter the Dragon, and it was an absolute embarrassment of the movie. But he's in it. He has like doing the doubling, and I think he might have been in Game of Death 2, which is Tower of Death in other countries, but that was produced by NGCUN. So he had produced No Retreat, No Surrender, but so he had dabbled with the Bruce exploitation kind of genre. And obviously, because he had worked with him before, he brought him back for No Retreat.
Oh.
Yeah, crazy.
Um. Okay, so I watched No Retreat, No Surrender last night, and I noticed something that I never noticed before. How do you feel about '80s Christian hair metal?
I've Christian hair metal.
Yeah,
I've never
like
gone to that level of genre. I've gone to hair metal. Everyone loves hair metal. You know what I mean?
um,
Like,
well, because in the scene where they're at the gym and they have the
yeah,
ring and stuff, there's a guy
yeah.
with a striper T-shirt.
All right. Okay. So they were
Yeah,
Striper a big kind of Christian kind of hair metal.
they're like the biggest. I
The
was like
biggest. All
watching,
right. Okay.
and I was watching. I was like, "There's a dude with a striper shirt." Oh, I don't know. I thought that was funny. But another thing, dude. Are you a big wrestling fan?
I was in the 90s, not anymore. I kind of
Okay.
fell out of like I followed like those sort of the drama with wrestling, what they call those TV shows they do about the sort of
Uh,
what they call it, sort of
Dark Side
expose.
of the Ring.
Yes, I've
Okay.
gone through like most of those.
Okay. Because there's a wrestler, Rob Van Dam.
Yes, that's right.
And there's like an interview, and I tried finding it, but he was talking because he kind of looks like, well, he really did. He looked like John Claude
Mm,
Van Damme when he was younger.
mm.
But he's like, was talking about like, oh yeah, I used to be like a big like Van Damme fan, and he's talking kickboxer, blood sport, and then he's talking no retreat, no surrender, and like I guess like that thumb thing, you know what I'm talking about that he
Yeah.
does.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That is from No Retreat, No Surrender, when Jean Claude Van Damme goes like, "I'm the best, I'm the best." That's where he got that from.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, dude, if you could get Rob Van Dam and the talk and the doc, dude.
That is a good suggestion. I'm gonna write that down. Rob Van
Um,
Dam.
I tried like finding the interview, but like, dude, like you know how it is with podcasts. You want like a 30-second clip of like an hour thing. You're not gonna find it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a nightmare when you think, oh, I heard
Um,
that before. Where's it gone? You know what I mean?
but dude, you brought up the sequels, right? And I thought I thought it was funny because how like the sequels have the same actor
Well, for 2 and 3, they had the same actor, Lauren
and
Avedon.
and four, because like
Well, there's a fourth No Retreat this one, but there's like um, Lauren was in number 2 and 3, and Cynthia Rothrock is in number 2. Matthias Hughes is the villain
oh
in
yeah,
number 2. That's
uh,
right. So, but because they were supposed to do Kurt McKinney and Van Damme were supposed to return for the sequel, but some sort of communication with seasonal films, their agent, some new guy had come in, and he was basically like feeding him information about when the shooting schedule is. Things were constantly changing, and they weren't going through their agents. They were just phoning up Kurt and Van Damme direct, which you weren't supposed to do. You got to go through the agent. Which they went, so that kind of caused problems, and then suddenly Van Damme didn't want to do it because he was kind of scared of shooting out there, you know, out in Thailand and things like that. So then Kurt sort of bowed out of it. So they then basically went ahead and basically changed the characters, I think, and basically you end up with a different movie. It's completely different films. They have nothing to do with the No Retreat, No Surrender, other than the title. Because if you
yeah.
watch it, you'd be like, different characters, different people, completely different scenario. Why would Kurt McKinney's character essentially be thrown into this kind of war? You know what I mean? In Thailand, it's crazy. So yeah, they just kept the name because it's like recognizable. If you had something, if you were just called Raging Thunder or something, then you'd be like, what's this? So,
Um, but I thought it was like because it's like the same, but he's like a different character. Like he's
yeah.
in like all the sequels, but he's like a different character.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, number
what-
3, like Lauren's back, but he's a different character. It makes no
and
sense. It's like what?
because like
It's like,
well, the fourth one, he's in fourth one because that's like King of the Kickboxers.
well,
Uh,
that's Karate Tiger. That's a Karate
yeah,
Tiger sequel. So King of the Kickboxers again has nothing to do with the other films. But the only connection it does have is that it's written by Keith Strandberg, who had written No Retreat 1, 2, and 3. So he'd done another thing, which was King of the Kickboxers, with Lauren Avedon in it and Billy Blanks. And also, if you remember the Street Fighter 2 documentary I made, James Goddard had said, "Oh, one night I was watching TV, King of the Kickboxers comes on, Billy Blanks does that wicked whoosh, like kick he does, and that was sort of formed the basis of DJ." So, when I spoke to Keith, the writer, like over a week ago, I said, "Look, this was also inspired by from Street Fighter," and he was like, couldn't believe it. So, yeah.
uh, but like the King of the Kickboxers, that's probably my favorite sequel out of all of them. It's probably the one
It's
that probably
crazy. Yeah, it's a really good film.
But it's probably the one that probably has most to do with most like no retreat, no surrender, I
You
guess.
could say, yeah, because it's like it's got that sort of tournament, not tournament, but sort of like more of the action is kind of feels more in key with No Retreat, you know, and the character. But it's like, again, it's with it being the fourth one, it's just the Karate Tiger kind of brand in Germany, sort of taking these films, random films like Kickboxer or Best of the Best or well, those films, and just giving it Karate Tiger and then a different number. So it's just like, but if you watch, if you put in like Karate Tiger 10, like the cover is just some random action film. When I saw the tape the other week, I was like, this looks like gay porn. So it didn't look like an action film to me.
You know, I have not went up to 10, but maybe I have. I mean, because like a lot of these movies have like 3 different titles, you know.
Dude, yeah. It's like
Um,
Italian horror, you know. It's like Italian films where either they license a film from the States and just re-edit it and call it something else. It's like Dawn. It's like, what is it? Dawn of the Dead, and it's called Zombie
yeah.
in Italy, something like that. You know, different cuts of it. Yeah.
Um, one thing I'm like kind of really looking forward to. Okay, who's like the chubby dude and like No Retreat, No Surrender? What was his name?
Oh, Kent Lippen.
Yeah, dude.
He had passed away, isn't he? So
Yeah, he passed
yeah.
away. Dude, I want to hear some stories of that guy because his character Scott is like he's kind of an ass in the movie, but he's like
Yeah, of course.
but he's so entertaining. Like he's
Oh
so
yeah.
funny, man. Yeah, like the burgers and stuff, and like slopping it. Like in the opening scene, he's like eating a box of ding dongs, and he has a
Mm.
cake in his hand. Um, but I want to hear some stories on that guy, man, because he just seems like such a joy to be around. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. We know we quiz all the cast members, you know, about their experience with him and remembering the time they had with him. And because he is kind of, as you're saying, like this crazy character. He's a bully, but he's got this kind of John Belushi type animal. Was it animal? Not animal. No, what was it called? Um, what's the film John Belushi did in the early 90s, early
Animal
80s?
House.
It was Animal
Animal
House, yeah. So that was that kind of comedy thrown in with his character. But also you got a film because the thing that the angle we are taking with this is because it's a Hong Kong team, you know, making an American movie. So you are it's kind of two cultural kind of things coming together where you've got the Hong Kong martial arts and direction, but with American story, American actors. And when you do watch it, you have this kind of weird mix of comedy, which is kind of like very Hong Kong style, and so you end up with this like it's kind of weird. It's some of it is kind of like unintentionally funny, and some of it is on purpose. So you have this kind of weird, you know, kind of weird balance of it all, and that's what kind of makes it quite intriguing. And it's kind of like with the canon movies where they thought, okay, well, arm wrestling's going to be really big, and they're like, it's just like two guys doing this. It's just like that's not really entertaining to general people. Or they thought breakdancing was going to be this big thing. It didn't really take off after they did the first one, which was successful. But they thought it's going to be a wave of breakdancing movies, and it kind of fell on its ass. So they kind of like think they always saw like a market for something, never quite in tune with what was really what Americans wanted and what they were thinking. It was just kind of based on like, oh, I think they might like that. They might like ninjas and stuff like that. And it sort of went from
Oh,
there. So that's what you get with like No Retreat. It's kind of it's a weird mix of kind of Hong Kong style comedy with American actors performing it, and it comes across as a bit like weird and strange. But that's why people love it, you know.
oh yeah, like RJ, man, dude. RJ, he's like the like the one of the best characters in the movie.
Oh yeah.
JW, man. He's just so wonderful on screen. Oh, dude, when the Sugarfoot man, when they're fighting in the thing, and he's like, "Later, bro." Is that what it's just like I'm like, oh man, he's such a joy, man. Such a joy on screen. Like,
He's a comedy sidekick, isn't he? Because he got the part. I think. Well, from what I recall, because he sort of bluffed his way into the audition. He sort of said, "Oh, I can do breakdance now. I can do this and that," and he couldn't really do it, but he can rap, and so of course he does a rap in the movie, and we get him to do it again for the documentary, and he just does it with ease, absolute pro. So yeah, I think you'll all look forward to seeing him do that.
Oh man, that's dude. And oh man, I seen some of the clips, man. Like he's hanging outside of the burger place.
Yeah, yeah. My co-director, Christopher Stratton, who had done editing on the Street Fighter 2 documentary, did the opening graphics. He shot a lot of the kind of interviews. He's my camera guy. He's a Swiss Army knife. He can do multiple things, and he's shot a lot of stuff in LA during sort of late summer time. He went out and shot like 6 interviews and shot loads of B-roll. I said, look, Chris, you've done loads of material. You can have a co-director credit. And I was like, because I wasn't really, I'm not a guy who goes around chasing credits. I was like, yeah, you just share it with me. So he, went around and shot a number of the locations from the film. Because we did look into all of them, but some of them you just don't recognize, or it's like you can't access it. So I said, well, okay, well, what can we access, and what is actually like you could see it side by side and go, oh yeah, that's the same place. So we kind of captured those, to sort of let JW tell you kind of what happened and the story of these kind of locations, and the sort of give you that sort of passage of time.
Where was the movie shot? Because I know it's Seattle, but there's palm trees in that movie, man.
No, it's kind of LA. It's LA and Seattle. Seattle's kind of like later on. I think it was like they shot because of Bruce Lee's grave's in Seattle, right? So they kind of did a lot of guerrilla filmmaking without permission, sort of filming, going to the grave and filming. And that's kind of what we did. So, monkey see, monkey do, as it were. But yeah, so we got, as you saw in the trailer, Kurt McKinney does return to Bruce Lee's grave.
Oh, dude, yeah, I seen that, man. I was like, oh man,
it's gonna be epic, man. It's gonna be epic.
Yeah. Also, it seems like you're gonna talk about the second with Rothrock.
Yeah, we do explore the sequels, even though they're not really sequels, but because it'd be foolish not to. Can I say? When I like just making documentaries, if they're sequels or spin-offs, then I'm gonna fucking talk about it. So we have Cynthia Matthias Hughes, Keith Strandberg, kind of exploring those sequels. We definitely want to get hold of Lauren Avedon and get him involved to discuss some of his part in that, because he was the star. Yeah. So it would be foolish not to include him. So I think once the producer Sean was like, "Hey, look, once we cross this finish line with the Kickstarter, then we can try and get to film Lauren, because he's not like LA. He's like, I think he's based in Florida, so it's like completely opposite direction. So a little bit more kind of a." Sort of managing to get hold of him. But yeah, I mean, Sean's spoken to him before. He's interviewed him, in the past. So it's not like we can't get hold of him. But it's more logistical. I think at the time when Chris was in LA filming, we didn't have the funds for him to go, oh, do you want to go to Florida? You just can't. You got it's not in the budget.
Oh man, but yeah, no, this documentary, I'm excited. And I also seen some clips of you. You posted of Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. Ryan Gosling, man. He said like he's doing like promos for, was it The Fall Guy? Which is a good film. I really enjoyed it. Very funny. He was saying like, because he's in an action movie, people just quiz him. Oh, what was your favorite action movie growing up? And to everyone's surprise, it was No Retreat, No Surrender. So, I thought, well, I think the producer had reached out to him and his various agents, and there's like no feedback at all. So he's probably quite difficult to get hold of. Which is a shame. Maybe we can go through his wife, Eva Mendes, and see if she, goes, look, check out this, Ryan. But yeah, it's mental. That was his favorite film growing up, and we've kind of just to remind people, that one of the biggest stars in Hollywood at the moment, he loves No Retreat, No Surrender.
And Rob Van Dam. The wrestler.
Yeah, and Rob. Yeah. It's crazy. People have asked, well, where's Van Dam? Because he's in the movie. Why isn't he in the promos? But we had, as it explains on the Kickstarter page, we had reached out to Jean-Claude, and he politely declined. I think he's kind of. I think at the moment there's this kind of trend going on with the action stars where Arnold made a big documentary about his career on Netflix, 4-part episode series, which was brilliant. Stallone does his, which is like an hour and a half. It's not very good. I didn't like it. Then I think Dolph Lundgren has one in the works as well. And Dolph Lundgren, he's had a crazy career and just got over cancer, which is brilliant. I was like, you can't have Dolph Lundgren be defeated by cancer. You know what I mean? And I think Van Damme wants to follow as well and do his own documentary about his career. And I think he wants to focus on that and not, discuss other films with other people, which is a shame because, there's been multiple, re-releases of his movies. And I think the distributors and labels have tried to get him involved to be interviewed. And he's always kind of declined. And so I was like, oh, that's a shame. You know what I mean? But, we have reached out and he said no. But maybe down the line, this kind of No Retreat, No Surrender documentary, the trailers and stuff will come under his radar and he will see it and go, oh, okay, I want to get involved. But at the moment, it's like, he said, no, you can't do much about it.
Oh, but that would be funny if he did get Rob Van Dam. So it's,
we got the other. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We got an A Van Dam. Yeah.
Oh man. So you got Dale. You got Ket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we got both the composers as well. So we've covered our bases. You know what I mean? With like everyone, there's so much material. It's crazy. And people are suggesting more interviews. I'm like, yeah, that's great, but it's just like a stockpile of footage is piling up. So yeah,
I don't know. Like, get the guy with the striper shirt. See if you can track him down.
Track him down. Go, yeah. Do you like that band? Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Or like, maybe he doesn't like them anymore. Maybe he went the other out, or like started listening to, I don't know, like black metal or something.
Yeah. It's gone full on death metal now. Sorry,
Yeah, man. Dude, yeah, the doc, man, the Kickstarter, man. Dude, I'm excited. Like, this has been really great, man. I think we covered it, dude. I think.
Yeah. We've got like a couple more weeks left to Kickstarter. Then we, make a start editing the production and film any additional interviews that we need to do. But yeah, we're intended to release the documentary in March of next year. So we've got a quick turnaround because documentaries aren't really quick to edit. You got to, there's a lot of stuff to go through to make sure it kind of works. But me and Chris are both going to be editing the documentary, so it's always handy to have another person there because it does speed up the process. And I'm looking forward to putting it together and make something that's really entertaining, really funny, really informative, and just triggers your nostalgia. You know what I mean? And hopefully, all the fans throughout the world will be pleased to watch it.
All right, now let me try plug in your stuff. So it's the untold story of No Retreat, No Surrender. You got the Kickstarter. I'm sure people could look it up or Google it. Kickstarter, the untold story of No Retreat, No Surrender, and then you got your retrospective reviews on YouTube.
Yeah, if you put in Oliver Harper into YouTube, you can find my work.
Yeah, I watched them, dude. You can watch them over and over again, man. It's so great.
That would help.
And then you got your Let's Plays. Those are pretty rad. I love those.
Yeah, I haven't done one of those in ages. I need to do them again. I've done them for like 9 months. Like I sort of got sidetracked, But I have been discussing video games, haven't I? More recently on my main channel, especially with Jurassic Park, the video games.
Oh man, like what would be a Van Damme game? Does Van Damme?
There was well, you got to come on, man. You got to remember, there's a Time Cop video game which is terrible.
And Street Fighter, the movie. The
movie, yeah. I think that is it. That is it, man. Van 2. Or if you want to get really weird, it's Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat, which is basically Van Damme.
Yeah. And then, dude, Last Kumite. I think that's on Tubi. I think I got the DVD.
You got DVD of it?
Maybe it's not on Tubi. Maybe I
It
shouldn't
might
say
be,
that.
yeah. I mean,
It
my
might be.
Street Fighter thing's on Tubi. It just gets, if you go through a distributor, they just throw it on everything. You know what I mean?
And then
Uh,
here comes a new here comes
Here comes a new
a,
challenger.
a new
Yeah.
challenger, dude. That's a rad one. I loved it. And then
And
In Search of the Last Action Hero, or
coming soon in March, there's going to be a new release of Street Fighter on Blu-ray. Look at that in focus. This is the
oh,
from Enjoy the Ride Records, which is basically a new. This is a championship edition, which comes with new extras. So it's got like a SNES type cover, and that was like a Genesis type cover, as you can kind of see like the border. That's more of a European logo, and
oh,
then you got like a SNES cartridge, which is
oh,
pretty sweet.
dude, that's sick. When is that coming out?
It's out to pre-order now on the Vinegar Syndrome website.
Oh, dude, I love that, man.
Yeah, loads of new extras, and it's out. Yeah, it's out to pre-order, so it'll be out in March. I think it's late March, 25th of March. So
Dude,
yeah,
I gotta. I'll,
I've got to do a video on this to sort of let people, to remind people. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna pre-order that today, man. Dude, I just got Sidekicks. They did
Oh,
Sidekicks,
oh yeah, Sidekicks Chuck Norris and the kid from Neverending Story
and,
2.
dude, Joe from Dead Heat.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and oh, and then one of the dudes working on the doc, like he did the first person shooter doc.
Chris, yeah, Chris did FPS shooter. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, that was a sick one. I like that
Yeah,
one.
he co-directed that. Yeah, and he did all the graphics and interviews and stuff. Yeah, very talented guy.
Dude, that's a
Great
cool
guy.
one. I like that one, man.
And Chris would have loved seeing your hair.
Yeah, yeah, man.
You can get away with a mullet. You can. Most people can't.
Maybe Brian. I guess Brian Bosworth. I guess he could.
Oh,
Van Damme.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Van Damme in Hard Target. Yeah, you can get away with it. And he's got a bit of a mullet in Time Cop, hasn't he? But may just be
Yeah,
a bit more bouffant hair.
yeah.
Big
And
quaff.
but Brian Bosworth and Stone Cold.
Oh man, what a film that is. Masterpiece.
See, oh, dude, you got to do one on that, man.
Yeah, I know. I've been asked many a times.
Really? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's such a weird film. Like, it's like proper cheesy bollocks. And I thought my girlfriend would hate it, but she was like, "That was brilliant." You know, it's like the guy who directed like "I Come in Peace," Craig Baxley. It's like one of the best action guys, second year directors. Just his stuff. He shoots explosions and like, shootouts with such flair. It's always good seeing his stuff.
Oh, right on. Yeah, man. But dude, No Retreat.
No surrender.
Yeah, man. Right on, dude. Well, thank you so much, dude, for the time, dude. It's
No
such
problem,
an
man.
honor, man. It's so cool, man. All right. All right, man. Right on.
Take care, man.
I think we did it.
Yeah, yeah. Well done. Good stuff, Jeff.
All right. Let's see ya.
Yeah, just ping me a link when it's all done, and I'll share it with people.